Aeterno. This felt almost like Lost the movie, and was definitely one of the best episodes in the entire series. At long last, we get the backstory of the mysterious Richard Albert. We begin on the beach where Jack and the gang are contemplating their next move. Ilana says that Richard should know what to do next, but apparently he doesn't have a clue. Richard claims that everything Jacob ever said was a lie, and that they all have died and gone to hell. He then suggests that maybe they should listen to someone else, and then storms off into the jungle. Hurley is seen speaking to someone in Spanish but doesn't reveal who it is when Jack confronts him. Ben tells everyone that Richard doesn't age, and then one of the longest continuous flashbacks of the entire series begins. The Canary Islands, 1867. We see Richard riding home to his sick wife, Isabella. She's coughing up blood and needs a doctor fast, so she gives Richard her cross necklace to help pay for medicine. He reaches the doctor's house that night in the pouring rain and begs him to help his wife. But the doctor refuses to give up such expensive medicine for such a small amount of money. During a struggle, Richard accidentally kills the doctor and then runs off with the medicine. Once he returns home, he discovers that his wife has already died, and then he's arrested. A priest visits him in prison so that Richard could confess, but does not offer him God's forgiveness because he cannot grant absolution for murder, and the only way to return to God's grace is through penance. The priest tells Richard that they plan to hang him, and he doesn't have time to redeem himself. The priest tells him that the devil awaits him in hell, and then leaves him alone to his thoughts. And I think he stole his Bible. Now, I have never felt as bad for another character on Lost based off of just one episode. He accidentally kills a man to get medicine to save his wife, but once he returns home, he finds that she died anyway and then is arrested. They plan to hang him, and now he can't even go to heaven. But instead of hanging him, the priest sells Richard into slavery, and next thing you know, Richard is on the Black Rock, bound in chains and stuck in a storm. The island is guarded by the devil, according to a fellow slave upon seeing the four-toed statue. Interesting way of putting it. The Black Rock crashes into the statue. The statue gets smashed, but the Black Rock is more or less in one piece. How exactly does that work? And Jacob was the one who brought the Black Rock there to begin with, so I'm just wondering, why would he mess up his own statue? So the following morning, one of the remaining officers on the ship starts killing the rest of the slaves since they have limited resources. But before he can kill Richard, our old friend Smokey shows up and kills the rest of the crew. After thrashing around the officer, he scans Richard and then disappears. Now, did anyone else notice the blue butterfly that kind of flew over Richard when he was trying to loosen the nail out of the floorboard? It was obviously put there on purpose because we see it in the establishing shot of the Black Rock and also see it fly inside over Richard, so it was definitely there on purpose. I'm only curious because the smoke monster did in fact take the form of spiders before, and then we also still have that weird unexplained Hurley bird. I wonder if that's even important or not. Anyways, Richard is awoken by Isabella, who tells him that they both are dead and are in hell. I'm not buying it. Don't trust anyone that you know has died unless that person is talking to Hurley. Well, I'm not really sure if you can trust those dead people either. So Richard tells her to run, and she is supposedly snatched up by the smoke monster. I'm pretty sure we can all agree that Isabella was actually the smoke monster in this scene. Later, the man in black brings Richard some water, and then tells him again that he is dead and in hell, and that he wants to escape. He gets Richard to agree to help him, and then unlocks the chains around his wrists. It's good to see you out of those chains. Just like he said earlier this season. The man in black gives Richard the same dagger that Dogan gave to Saeed to kill Flock. And he pretty much gives Richard the same instructions that Dogan gave to Saeed in Sundown. You must stab him in the chest before he is able to speak a single word. So I want to know, what is up with this knife? Who did it originally belong to? Is it a magic knife or something? Richard marches to the beach to find the statue in ruins, which still baffles me. He left the intact wooden ship that crashed into the stone statue to go to the statue that was crumbled by that intact would ship. That's like breaking a boulder with a pencil. He looks around and doesn't see anything until out of nowhere, Jacob punches him in the face. Richard seems almost helpless, and Jacob quickly disarms him and then demands to know where he got that knife. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but I kind of got the feeling that Jacob might have recognized that knife. Jacob convinces Richard that he's still alive by repeatedly dunking him into the ocean, which was pretty funny and actually reminded me of some kind of messed up baptism. Jacob gives an incredibly simple analogy of what the island's purpose is, and the best thing about his analogy is that I was actually thinking along the same lines. About a day or so before Aeterno aired, I actually posted a video response to another Lost recap, giving my idea of what was going on the island, and it was very similar to what Jacob said in this episode. So to get to that video, I will provide a link in the description. Jacob says that the man in black believes that man is corruptible because it's in their very nature to sin, and that he brings people to the island in order to prove him wrong. There were many people on the island before Richard, but they are all dead because Jacob did not want to interfere. He wanted them to help themselves. Perhaps Adam and Eve were among the people Jacob brought to the island before Richard. He offers Richard a job to step in and act as his representative to the people that he brings to the island. Richard asks for his wife back in return, but Jacob says that he can't bring her back. Jacob is also unable to absolve him of his sins, so Richard decides that he never wants to die. And so Jacob gives Richard eternal life. I'm really interested in knowing the source of Jacob's power. It seems like Jacob's powers are limited to people that are still alive, while the man in black's powers are limited to people who have died. The black smoke can take the form of those who are dead and channel their memories and stuff like that, while Jacob can apparently heal people and grant them eternal life. Perhaps the eternal life has to do with manipulation of time. Richard returns to the jungle and presents a white stone to the man in black, who says that if Richard is to ever change his mind, his offer would still stand. He then gives Richard Isabella's cross and disappears, and Richard quickly buries it. Back in 2007, we see Richard returning to that very spot, where he digs up the cross necklace and declares that he's changed his mind. As he yells out to the man in black, Hurley comes out of the jungle and claims that Isabella sent him. Hurley tells Richard everything that his wife Isabella is saying, and Richard's faith is restored. But Hurley tells Richard that she said one last thing before leaving. She said that Richard has to stop the man in black from leaving the island, because if he doesn't, we all go to hell. And Flock is standing off in the distance watching as this takes place. Creepy. Awesome, but creepy. And the last scene between Jacob and the man in black was very interesting.
Good morning.
Morning.
I see you got my present.
Don't gloat, Jacob. Doesn't become you.
So you tried to kill me?
You expect an apology?
No. I guess I'm just wondering why you did it.
Because I want to leave. Just let me leave, Jacob.
As long as I'm alive, you're not going anywhere.
Well, then now you know why I want to kill you. And I will kill you, Jacob.
Even if you do, somebody else will take my place.
Well, then I'll kill them too.
Here. Something for you to pass the time. I'll see you around.
Sooner than you think.
It's funny that no matter how much the man in black wants to kill Jacob, he still says good morning to him every time. He then seems to almost plead with Jacob to let him leave. How is Jacob keeping him on the island? What exactly is the history between these two before this flashback? Smokey claims that Jacob took his body and his humanity. I really hope that the series finale is a flashback of the two of them. Jacob gives the man in black the wine bottle to help him pass the time, and then the man in black smashes it, letting the darkness out. Could this be a reference to the other timeline where the island is underwater, possibly broken, The Seal released and The Man in Black free? We shall see. So last week I asked you guys which spin-off series would you prefer? A buddy cop series starring Sawyer and Miles, or a drama series starring Kate and Claire as a dysfunctional couple? And the winner is, with almost no debate at all, the buddy cop series starring Sawyer and Miles. Yay! Honestly, I got more comments about a spin-off series starring Ben and Locke teaching than I did Kate and Claire, which it's kind of funny because that wasn't even an option. That's it for this recap, so please subscribe for future Lost videos, and make sure to tune in for my recap of episode 10 entitled The Package. I'll see you guys later.